Hi guys, Lance here from the Rocky Mountain Life channel. I'm out here riding with Ferret Face of Ferret Face Failed Productions today. And if the bike sounds funny to you, that's because it's not mine. I am on Ferret Face's GPX FSE300R. This is a 4-stroke, obviously, as you can hear it. This is one of his rental bikes. And this is literally we just drove away from the truck. So I'm just getting used to it. So I'm trying to be careful with this bike here. This place is beautiful though, I'll tell you that much. Alright, so GPX Moto, that's what this is. This is a 300. This is a Chinese made bike. Imported through GPX Moto, which is an American based company. US based company. And these bikes are specifically outfitted for GPX. GPX does the quality control and that sort of stuff on them. So I know Ferret Face has talked extensively about his thoughts on them. These bars are wide.
They are a bit.
Yeah, so it feels different than the Beta. So Ferret Face is on a Rieju, R-E-I-J-U. That is a Spanish brand. They bought the old factory of Gas. Because Gas, as you know probably, is owned by KTM. KTM still maintains the Gas line, the name, but they've turned it into their budget one. They've downgraded the heads on the motors and a whole lot of other things that, you know, it's now their cheaper thing. They're not their premium stuff. That's their Husky line, of course. But he's on a 300 2-stroke. So first gear on this GPX 300 is much lower than my Beta. The handlebars are quite a bit wider, and that makes the feel of the bike quite a bit different to me. It's going to take me a few minutes to get used to it. Beautiful trail though, but I admit I am nervous on it. Not because of the trail necessarily, because it's not my bike. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to the engine braking. First gear engine braking is quite strong, but I mean that's to be expected with a very short first gear. The bars on this one are a little bit low for me for standing. It's got good tractability though. It's got good torque. Now I know the first thing that usually comes to mind for a lot of people when you say it's a Chinese motorcycle, first reaction, including mine, I admit, is Chinese junk. And then of course, you know, the political side of it is I don't want to support Chinese companies, and I understand that. But I'm trying to give a good, open, honest impression of what this thing feels like, because it is a very affordable option.
How's it going? Good.
It's got good grunt though, good tractability. First gear is really short.
Yep, I love it.
So it's really good for that slow speed. Trying to make that, there was that hard right hand turn there, and I thought, man, this is really good for this slow stuff. Ferretface has a few videos out about this bike and other GPX motorbikes. He owns 4 of them. It's part of his rental business, and I will try and figure out how to put a link to that. And put that down in the description for you. So if you're in the Colorado area and you're looking to rent a dirt bike, dual sport, this thing's got a license plate on it. It's got turn signals, headlight, tail light. This is a good option. Now, the company that Ferretface does with Meeker Extreme on these bike rentals, they also have a 450 GPX, and I believe they have a 250 as well. So Ferretface has talked a lot about in his videos, and you can go over to his channel and check him out if you'd like. But he does not believe that the quality of these is bad at all. You know, I mean, it's not going to be high-end stuff because the price tag isn't high-end. Now, I looked at their website this morning on the drive out here for GPX, and the MSRP on this bike for 2022 is $5,999.99. So $6,000 US for an MSRP. Dry weight on this without fuel and everything is listed at 254, I think, with the lights. Don't hold me to that too hard, but I know I'm really close. It's either 259 or 254. I want to say 254. That is much lighter than a KLX300 from Kawasaki. It's also much lighter than the Honda CRF300, which to me I would call, you know, in the same class or competitors to this. So if you're looking to trim weight, this is a good place to start. LED lighting, it's EFI, it's fuel injected, not a carburetor. Has a cable clutch. It's not hydraulic, but I mean, it's light. It's a one-finger clutch for sure. And of course, cable clutches have lots of adjustability as well. Comes with good foot pegs. Comes with turn signals, of course, like I mentioned. Mirrors. Only got the right mirror on it right now. He's got the other one taken off, but you can see where it belongs on the handlebars. And he hasn't had any trouble with this. And this is the bike that he dumped in the river in Wyoming a few weeks back. You can see his videos about that too. And also he made a video on what you do to your bike if you do dunk it in the water and drown it and get water inside of it. So he's got this one all cleaned up and ready to go again. And this is really pushing the limits of my abilities. Even if I was on my own bike, this would make me nervous. Why is that? Because I'm not a great trail rider. My balance is just mediocre at best. Brakes on this are pretty good. There's actually quite a bit of a, I would call it maybe feel on the front brake lever, which is nice. My beta is a bit grabby, but I can one finger this get good bite but not have it lock up on me very easy. So switching gears a little bit, the Rieju that ferret face is riding. If you're not familiar with Rieju, which I wasn't until a few weeks ago, is a Spanish company. And when KTM bought Gas, KTM moved its manufacturing of the Gas line out to wherever they wanted to do it. Probably China. A lot of the stuff on the KTMs these days is initially manufactured in China. They're not doing all the building in Austria anymore. They are still doing some. Some of that was COVID and delayed some of their outsourcing. But what it did is it left the gas factory, the prior gas factory, empty. So Rieju bought it. And Rieju has made some modifications to it, to the bikes. This Rieju that he's on is similar to what the gas two-strokes used to be before KTM bought them. But they've altered them a bit. They've updated them. They've changed the heads. They've changed the frame, the chassis a bit. They've made some changes to the ergonomics that have helped it. It's shed some weight, because I know that, like, the 2012 era gases had the tendency to be a little bit on the heavy side for a two-stroke. These are better. I haven't been on this Rieju. It's brand new. He just got it set up, and he's basically breaking it in. For Pete's sake, this is rough for me. Ooh. And it makes me hot. Whew. Now, when I was talking about, you know, the differences between this and some other things, the only thing I can really compare it to is my beta. Oh crap. That's what I didn't want to do.
2 very boring minutes later.
Weeds in the handguards. Alright. Let's just see how bad my skills are here. That rear tire kicked out to the right. First time I tried that. That last spot that we'd kind of stopped briefly,
Yeah.
I went to go and get up that first little bit of rock, and the tire kicked out to the right. And so I grabbed the clutch, and there was no room on the right side of the bike to put my foot down. So it has tipped over, but it basically tipped over from a stop. I can also say that this stock seat is way better than the beta stock seat.
I told you. I was like, it's not your seat concept, but hold on.
I can sit on this one. This is no big deal. Momentum is your friend, Lance. No, I did not come up with that quote. I got that quote from a friend of mine who's 100 times better rider than I've ever been or ever will be. And I tell myself that all the time. Momentum is your friend. But it also scares me. That was pretty steep there, and that was a big tree root that I went over. You might not even be able to see it on this, but on the camera. But I was quite pleased I went over it. It wasn't even hard. Probably because I had some momentum. I know. So far, I mean, I have not had any complaints about the suspension. These are SCZ suspension components. I'm not familiar with that company. I'm sure it's Chinese. Now, Fairface tells me that a lot of people say that it's like a rip-off copy of like first generation WP forks, but he says that's not the case. He says the internal components are quite a bit different. I don't know much about it. I just know that it seems to work pretty good for what I'm doing, and it feels really good to me. I'm just an average everyday person with a normal job. My job is not connected to motorcycles. And I don't pretend to be an expert. I'm just your average everyday rider. No mechanic skills. Consider myself good to change the oil. And I know that Fairface knows a lot more and is a lot pickier about suspensions than I am. He's had more experience with them, and he really likes this. Seat height on this is 37 inches. That's the same as my Beta. So to me, getting on and off this thing is really no different than my Beta or any other trail bike, dirt bike. They're all pretty much the same. But I love that short first gear. I mean, gosh, that's so great for slow speed trail riding stuff. Like right now I'm in second. But this is just so solid, you know, that's just the word I would use for it. Fairface and I just stopped on a little break here a few minutes ago, have a little snack and chat, and we were talking about, you know, how these GPX bikes feel. People are asking him all the time on his channel about, you know, what's it like, what's it feel like, and everything else. And he and I kind of have the same feeling. There's nothing that I can say about this bike that makes me go, this is amazing, and this is why. This is a real standout thing. Everything on it so far is just really good. It's just very solid. It works. It fires up. It runs. It's got pretty good power. There's nothing on this bike that makes me go, oh, this is bad. And there's really nothing on this bike that makes me go, oh, this is so amazing. It's just really good. So for $6,000 MSRP, I'm having a hard time thinking you could go wrong. And Fairface says that he gets good dealer support for parts and stuff. What more could you ask for? So yeah, I mean, gosh, if you're looking to get a dual sport trail bike and you don't have Beta style money, KTM style money, Husqvarna style money, I'm having a hard time thinking you would go very wrong with one of these GPXs. And again, GPX is an American company. The bikes are manufactured in China. They are Chinese made by a different company, but they are spec'd. Look at this beautiful place. But they are spec'd, you know, built for GPX. And GPX does do the quality control and stuff on it. So it's really good in that regard. Tree branches. Where did he go? I hope he's still going this way.